Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked.
Tonight's Oscars, unfortunately, isn't the groundbreaking Best Picture winner coda. More on that in a minute. But it's what happens now after Will Smith slapped
the
Chris
biggest
Rock
night in
live
Hollywood.
Now to the Oscars here at home, and the slap that is still reverberating through the Academy and beyond. The Academy moving ahead with disciplinary proceedings against Will Smith for hitting Chris Rock at Sunday's ceremony.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to participate for the 8th time at this important meeting. History is truly at a turning point. We do not yet know the full extent and the systemic and structural changes which will happen. However, we do know that global energy systems, food systems and supply chains will be deeply affected. In times of crisis, the role of governments is more important and more relevant than ever. In conclusion, and despite all the challenges, we have to uphold our responsibility, which we have towards the next generation, and which we can only fulfill through collaboration on a national and on a global level. I wish you an impactful and successful meeting.
And the title of this session, are we ready for a new world order? That is the purpose of this discussion today, so let's get on with it. Your Excellency, are you ready for a new world order?
And beyond. The Academy moving ahead with disciplinary proceedings against Will Smith.
I don't know how to communicate it any better that we are all being distracted. We are living in a matrix that controls our thoughts and our conversations. They have us all talking about the same things that don't matter, keeping us oblivious to the things that actually do matter. In regards to world affairs, everyone has these baseless opinions, making points about irrelevance, while the people in the know actually are talking about and discussing things that actually do matter, discussing where this world is heading and what their expectations are for it and how do we get there. They're preparing their own selves and their families and their companies, while the rest of the masses live in ignorance, discussing Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, or who won the NCAA basketball tournament, or who can actually beat Bobby Flay. We are all being distracted, and for the most part, people are not ready for what is coming to this world. The burden of that is sometimes very hard for me to deal with. It's not like this is just some conspiracy theory that I'm making up on my own views and just speculating. I mean, you literally hear these people talking about what's coming to the world and how the world is about to change. And then you share these things with your family and your friends, and you literally get silence from them. No one responds. Or the ones that do respond say, this is not a big deal because it's not happening for 10 to 15 years. Then you have people planning on making these major moves to chase pre-COVID lifestyles, while the world is preparing to be uprooted and shaken to the core. They don't want to plan around that reality. In fact, they'd rather not even know about it so they can move through their emotions or their feelings or how they would like to think about it. You know what? I mean, at this point right now, I'm just really venting. But, it's true. We are all being distracted. I started this video showing exactly this to the T. The Oscars was held on the night of March 27th. This is when Will Smith did his stage smack of Chris Rock. And the next day, this is all over the news. Everyone is talking about it. But halfway across the world in Dubai, almost 30,000 people from all around the world have gotten together to discuss the future of the world at the World Government Summit. And there is not even a peep from the media about this. You see, they can talk about Will Smith for a week and how unstable Putin is. But as the leaders from all industries talk about the change that will affect the world, they leave the masses completely unaware of it. Now understand, you don't have to follow what the World Government Summit is saying to be prepared. This is not what I'm communicating. It's not about that summit. It's never about knowing everything that is going on in this world. I mean, you can't. It's more about not letting irrelevant actions from known sellouts grab your attention and then present a need for thought or discussion on it, more than really discussing that it was in fact a distraction. I mean, if you even have to really convince folks that it was staged, then there's more that needs to be discussed with that person more than that distraction. Listen, we are heading to a new world order. And before we get there, they will be crashing the world system. Their narrative is already set up for it. So we are just watching the implementation of it all. We need to be ready. This week, I want to be brief and explain what is going on in hopes that everyone watching makes sure that they are getting their houses in order. We cannot afford to be distracted. We must not be asleep. We must stay ready and make sure that we're awake. Let's begin. Okay, so let me get started here because this is how I started the video. Let's talk about the World Government Summit. What is it exactly? Well, on their website, they explain it as such. The World Government Summit organization is a global, neutral, non-profit organization dedicated to shaping the future of governments. The summit, in its various activities, explores the agenda of the next generation of governments, focusing on harnessing innovation and technology to solve universal challenges facing humanity. Since its inception in 2013, the summit has championed the mission of shaping future governments and creating a better future for humanity. The past 7 editions of the summit have successfully established a new model to collaborate on an international playing field to inspire and enable the next generation of governments. So yeah, this was an event that leaders around the world are using to have discussions about shaping the world. And the name of the summit isn't even ambiguous. It's the World Government Summit, discussing bringing about a world government. They don't have to hide it anymore. At the summit, there are so many different topics being discussed in different seminars. For instance, they spoke about the New World Order, and are we ready for it?
And the title of this session, are we ready for a new world order?
There was a lot of discussion about the future of money and cryptocurrencies.
And I think we're at the cusp of embarking on exploring a new technology that is a new technology for money. The new technology for money will power the new financial sectors, which will be the fundamental pillars for every other sector, be it real estate, e-commerce, everything else.
Stable coins and CBDCs, central bank digital currencies included. A lot of talk about the regulation of crypto, which is so funny because in my earlier videos about Bitcoin and the mark of the beast, there were so many naysayers about my conclusion of Bitcoin being tied to the mark of the beast. Because people truly believe that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are decentralized, so that the power is really with the people and not the governments. They think that this cryptocurrencies is power to the people. It's crazy. But those naysayers should really listen to what these people were saying. They spoke about the future of aviation. They also spoke about putting the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, in action. They spoke about the changes the war in Ukraine has and will bring to the world. And they spoke an awful lot about the metaverse and Web3. They discussed the future of the world. And while they were discussing our futures, our news media doesn't bring it up at all. That should tell you very clearly that the news is not about informing us, but about distracting us. Now, obviously, they didn't need to broadcast the whole event, but there could have been mentions. There could be summaries. There could be some kind of coverage. I mean, it's the news. But there was nothing. And they filled their time up with content about Will Smith and their narrative of Putin's blunder in Ukraine. But there was nothing about this discussion about our future and where we can actually go to listen to it and understand what is being discussed about it. And people, maybe in their justification for the news media, maybe want to believe that, hey, being that this summit was in Dubai, the major news outlets were unaware of this event. But look at their partners. Their strategic partners are all the organizations